My name is Duddits, I do builds and stuff. Today's video is going to be about the Well of Radiance getting an absolutely massive damage buff with a new seasonal artifact perk. Limit Break is the new seasonal artifact perk I was talking about, casting your super while you are critically wounded or matching an elemental buff that matches your subclass will give you a 30% damage increase whenever you use your super. So obviously on Thunder Crash, things like that, it's going to be really good, Nova Bombs, etc. But it actually works with Well of Radiance, and it will also buff your weapons inside of that well. So stay with me, I'll break it down. So, Limit Break, just what it says again, it says casting your super while you are critically wounded or have an elemental buff matching your super element grants a period of increased damage. It's a 30% damage increase. I've seen a couple of videos on it with Thunder Crash, things like that. So now what I'm going to do is just test some numbers inside of a Well of Radiance. Now, outside of a Well of Radiance, my solar pulse rifle hits for 1492. I did that a couple of times just to check myself, really, 1492. So obviously in the next clip I'm going to take advantage of the Limit Break. I'm going to get myself to low health, pop my well, and you're going to see a damage increase. Now bearing in mind we've got Radiant, which is a 25% when you're inside of a well, but we get way more of a damage increase, which is 62.5%, 63%, and that's the Radiant, 25%, and the 30% damage increase from the Limit Break stacking together. So you are actually getting 30% damage increase from the seasonal artifact perk inside of your well, plus your Radiant for all weapons. This is exceptional, very, very good, but there is some drawbacks. Now, the first drawback is it doesn't last for your full Well of Radiance. You'll see in this clip here, you'll see the number increase 242, all the way at 2425, which we mentioned, and it will stop after about 7 or 8 seconds, so it doesn't last for the full well. It lasts, like here you'll see in this clip, just for an example, you'll see that I get the 2425, that's the damage number that you saw, and then it will drop down, so it doesn't last for the full well, it's like 7 or 8 seconds. The other drawback to it is, also, it does not work for your teammates, it just works for you. However, it's still very, very strong, because we can put on the Sanguine Alchemy. Now what this does is when you're standing in any rift, it marks a target, you get an extra 10% damage against that target, and it also gives you a times for weapon surge. As long as you're using a weapon that matches your subclass element. So you get an extra 25% on top of everything else you've seen, as long as you run a solo weapon. You'll see on that bottom left, solo weapon boost times 4, that's a 25%, and you'll also see marked up, you get an extra 10%, so you get 35% damage increase when it's marked up, as long as you stood inside of a rift, and it works inside of a Well of Radiance. So if you add all them things together, you go from 1492, take advantage of the Limit Break, get your Sanguine Alchemy Well of Radiance down, and you're going to see even more damage increase. It shoots all the way up to 3334, which is 123% damage increase for about 7 or 8 seconds. For you, that is absolutely nuts. So I did check it a few times with a couple of clanmates, and it definitely doesn't work for your teammates. I tried it about 7 or 8 times. However, if you've got 3 or 4 warlocks, you're all going to be able to take advantage of it, of that Limit Break. So it doesn't work if I pop my well and then my teammates go into it, but if my teammates are running Well of Radiance, the same setup as me, they will be able to proc it. It also states, as long as you've got an elemental buff that matches your super element, that also does exactly the same. Obviously in my clips I was getting low health, but just for example, on a warlock or any solo subclass, you can go Ember of Torches, where your melee attack will give you Radiant. So that matches the elemental buff, so that will also proc it as well. Now, weapons. Lord of Wolves, we all know how strong this is. It's absolutely insane. Getting all that damage increase on Lord of Wolves. You've got loads of good solo weapons. I'm not going to go through every one. Stillhunt, He's a Vengeance, the Time Lost version. The Time Lost magazine as well. Things to take into account. Fidelity's Augur is very, very good as well. And finally, Parasite will be absolutely disgusting with this. I didn't really test Parasite. I'm going to do some raids tonight and tomorrow night with the clanmates and hopefully get some clips to show you on shorts or something like that, or maybe on Twitter. But like I said, just because it doesn't work for your teammates, it will work for your teammates if they're running the same setup as you. So there's really good, like, loads of different scenarios where you can take advantage. Maybe 3 or 4 warlocks, three warlocks in a dungeon, or get your Lord of Wolves out, get your Sanguine, and you can do some serious melting. We tried it in the advanced mode of the new Guardian Games thing, which I found absolutely fun as hell. I thought it was really good melting all these bosses. Yep, a very, very good game mode in my opinion. I don't know how he managed to stomp me. He hadn't even got legs, but he managed to stomp me, but never mind. But yeah, there's going to be some really good situations where you can take full advantage if you've got 3 or 4 Warlocks. The other thing with Sanguine Alchemy as well, and this little setup here. Now, Sanguine Alchemy, really for me, when they changed it a couple of seasons ago, give it that ×4 surge and the marking up, really stood out for a solo player. So it's really good for solo DPS and for team DPS if you've got a couple of Warlocks doing the same thing. Let me know what you think of this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.